Hey everybody, it's Dr. Eric Shoemake. I want to talk to you about the 3 keys to a bulletproof immune system today, because whether you know it or not, it's about to be cold and flu season. If you listen to the news or read a magazine or pick up the paper, then you're about to be inundated with fear messages saying it's cold and flu season, you got to get the flu shot, buckle down, go buy all the flu medication at the store that you can get your NyQuil, get your Robitussin, all of that stuff, get ready because it's going to get you. And unfortunately, a lot of people believe that. Well, what we do in our offices and as a part of Maximize Living is we say we're going to choose to not participate in cold and flu season. My family's just not going to be a part of that, because I'm not just going to wait for cold and flu season to come around. I'm going to build a bulletproof immune system. And if you have this kind of immune system, you don't have to worry about getting sick, you don't have to worry about the flu, and you darn sure don't have to line up to go get a toxic flu shot. So here's the 3 things that you need to do to start building your immune system, so you don't have to worry about it when the person next to you at the office starts to sneeze or your child comes home with a runny nose. We don't play past the virus at our house. You don't have to do that. You want to build the immune system from the inside out, and we're going to teach you how to do that today. Okay, we'll also be talking about this series coming up about autoimmune disorders. So things like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, Crohn's disease, multiple sclerosis. We'll talk about those with you. We're also going to be talking about something called leaky gut, and I'll teach you the symptoms of leaky gut and how having issues in gut permeability can actually cause a lot of problems with your immune system, of things like allergies, asthma, and a lot of those autoimmune conditions, and really just how to overcome things like colds and flu. So we're going to really go through that in these next few weeks. We have a workshop coming up called Body Armor. We're really excited about it. August. We'll tell you more about that later on down the line. But this first one I want to get to is really important, and this is probably the most important I can think of. How do you make sure your immune system becomes bulletproof? Well, number 1, you let it work. You let it work. What do I mean by that? Well, what do we do every time, not me per se, but what do most people do in our country? They say when they get a flu or a cold or a fever, what are they going to do with the fever? They say, I got to break the fever, right? I got to do something to lower the fever. Well, when you break the fever, okay, you have 102 degree fever and you take Tylenol or something like that to break the fever, what does that do to your immune system? Well, it cripples your immune system. The reason is because you're not letting it work. A fever is a good thing. It's an intelligent response of your body. And what fever is trying to do, we're going to have a whole video on fever coming up here, but what fever is trying to do is kill the bacteria or the virus inside of your body. It also walls off iron so that bacteria doesn't have anything to feed on. Fever increases interferon, which actually prevents you from getting cancer later on in life. Fever is very, very important. There was a study that was done not too long ago at University of Maryland, and they gave 2 groups of people the flu. These are college kids, obviously, and they paid them $50 to give them the flu. So this group got the flu, and this group got the same strain of the flu. This group was given Tylenol and Advil and everything they wanted to do to break their fever, and this group was not, Group B. And what happened is that Group A, the people that took the medication to break the fever, stayed sick 3.5 days longer than Group B. What does that tell you? They interfered with their immune system. They didn't allow it to work. So honor your symptoms. That's what we say. If you have a runny nose, it's there to get the bacteria out. If you're having a cough, it's there to get the stuff out. If you're having a fever, it's there for a reason. And unfortunately, most people have been taught that a high fever or a dangerous fever is 101, 102. That's absolutely not true. 105 degrees is a dangerous fever. If you have 105 degrees fever, then go to the doctor. That's what it's for. But otherwise, it's doing the right thing. Now, nobody said it's pleasant, but you got to let your immune system work. The other thing is the key to not getting the flu is not getting a flu vaccine. That's not letting your immune system work either. It's a completely artificial response. All right, it's not the same as getting the flu or getting chickenpox or getting something else you to get a vaccine for. It's an artificial response that freaks your immune system out, and that's one of the reasons we have kids that are so sick in our country. Is we have, they get 50 different vaccines by the time they're 5 or 6 years old, and the immune systems aren't working. Okay, so let your immune system work. Honor your symptoms. That's number 1. Number 2 is going to be getting rid of dairy. Now, this might be big for a lot of people because you love cheese or you love milk, but this is what I always tell my patients is that the only people that should be drinking cow's milk would be cows. And since I don't have cows in my office as patients, that means none of the patients need to be drinking cow's milk. And think about this for a second. You wouldn't drink cat's milk. You wouldn't drink. I was talking to my son about this recently. I said he wanted chocolate milk, and I said, that's for cows. Milk is for cows. It's designed to put 250 pounds on a baby calf. It's not meant for people. The protein in cow's milk are about that big compared to human breast milk proteins, which are very small and easy to digest. So dairy is actually the #1 food allergen known to man. So when I was talking to my son about this, I was saying, hey, we have 2 dogs. I said, would you drink dog milk? And he's like, no, that's disgusting. Well, why would you drink cow's milk then? We just think that's completely normal. When you pasteurize and homogenize it, it becomes the #1 food allergen known to man. It has something called IGF-1, insulin growth factor 1, which causes inflammation in your body. Inflammation will wreck your immune system. It increases your risk of autoimmune disorders. If you have an autoimmune disorder, you want to make sure you're staying away from dairy. So many kids that I see come in the office, they'll have asthma. And I just tell mom or dad, I say, hey, we got to get them off dairy for 2 weeks. And we'll see what happens. And they get them off the dairy for 2 weeks. And in that amount of time, the inhaler is gone. They can play soccer again. They can be around their dog again without having this big allergic reaction. So getting rid of dairy. So what can you do instead of dairy? Really simple now. There's a lot of dairy substitutes you can do. Almond milk, you can do coconut milk, you can do rice milk. So my kids still do, if they have like a healthy cereal, we'll just do it with almond milk or rice milk instead. And it's really simple. There's even almond milk ice cream, but staying away from dairy is something that's really important if you want your immune system to work, okay? And then the last one here, how to build a bulletproof immune system, is going to be, what are your expectations? Do you expect that you're going to get the cold and flu this year? I was just listening to Joel Osteen, and he was talking about this, and he said, you're going to use your faith one way or the other. And he says, you see it on the news, it's cold and flu season, and you think, well, I didn't get it last year, so I'm sure I'm going to get it this year. So you stop by a Walgreens and you pick up some cold and flu remedies, Dayquil or NyQuil, and you take it home, and sure enough, you get the cold and flu. Well, you used your faith because it came true. What you put your faith in came true. You thought you were going to get it. So my expectation when I see somebody coming down with something is that I'm not going to get that. I'm building a bulletproof immune system. I'm letting my immune system work. I get adjusted, so my immune system works at 100%. I'm not eating, cow's milk and cheese and all of this stuff on a regular basis. And my expectation is very simple. I'm not going to get this. I am going to go through this cold and flu season, and it's not going to touch me. Fear is one of the biggest things that will destroy your immune system. It increases white blood cell activity, which increases your risk of infection when you're fearful or when you're afraid. It increases cortisol levels, which decreases your immune system. So it's really about having faith that the things you're doing with your lifestyle that we teach in the 5 Essentials, that you're getting adjusted, you're thinking the right thoughts, you're eating the right foods, you're not ingesting toxins on a regular basis. When you do that, you have an immune system, a bulletproof immune system, so you don't have to worry about what everybody else is worried about. And I'll tell you, if you make those 3 steps, you let your immune system work, you get rid of the dairy, and you start using some substitute there, and then you have the expectations that you're going to be well, this will be the best cold and flu season that you've ever had. I promise you that.